Hello, TBR fans. Welcome to this episode of Talk About Rock. I'm your host, Rob Edwards. My co-host, Jerry Schmidt in Nashville, is on assignment. Today, you asked for it. We got your emails. We got your messages. You wanted more metal, and we're bringing it to you. The metal man himself is with us. We have with us the Scream Machine, Tim Ripper Owens. How's it going today, Tim?
Good, buddy. How are you, man?
Oh, we're doing great. We're doing great. You know, you've had quite the career, from Priest to Iced Earth, singing with Yngwie Malmsteen, and your current projects with KK, and now the three Tremors. You're a busy guy.
I am. I stay nice and busy. Luckily I have work to do, so it's kind of good.
Oh, that's always a good thing. Definitely. So let's give these folks a little history lesson if they're not too sure what's happened with you in the past. So I know from what I've read, when you started out singing, you were singing with a different priest, and you were singing in some choruses in church to start off with, right?
Well, just for a second with that, but I was a choir singer. A lot of school, all throughout school, I was a choir singer, and I got quickly. I sang in a church choir. They paid me to sing in it. It was kind of funny. But yeah, I was a big choir singer coming all through school.
And how did you get into bands? Did you have some friends in bands, or did you form your own first couple bands?
I just graduated high school and started, went out and watched some bands and decided to kind of join one and wasn't local. Actually, I didn't make the first two or three bands I auditioned for. So I always thought it was funny, years later when I'm going through a car wash and the guitar player that said I wasn't good enough was washing my Jaguar. I was like, all right, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, you gotta definitely like that irony coming around. What comes around goes around, right?
Yeah.
So you had some early bands. You had like Damage Incorporated. You had Winter's Bane, and then you went on, I think, to form a tribute band, right? British Steel, right?
I did. Yeah, I did that for about a year. It was actually Winter's Bane, and we would open up with our original stuff because we couldn't really get gigs. I mean, this is when metal was really dead, and 94 and 95. I did the British Steel for about a year, and then I did a Seattle tribute band for about a year. That's when Judas Priest called. I was actually in the Seattle tribute band, but they had found a video of when I was in the Judas Priest tribute band. So
obviously, us as fans, we only know what Hollywood tells us. But so you got the call from Priest. Did you think it was them? Did you think it was a goof or what?
Yeah, I really didn't. I mean, I got a message. I got these girls who videotaped it from New York. My last show with the Judas Priest tribute band. They gave it to Scott, and they said, "Hey, you got to call this number. You got to call England. They're trying to get a hold of you." And you got to call this Jane Andrews. And, I went and looked at the album and there's her name. And I was like, I'll be damned. It's real.
Right. So then you got a hold of them and chatted with them. And then they flew you out for an audition then?
Yeah. They told me I wouldn't have to audition. They said, no, you're not going to have to audition. We saw the video. We heard you. But then when I got there, now remember, I didn't sing a Judas Priest song for a year. And I didn't get ready for an audition. So I get there and they're like, all right, tomorrow you can sing. So I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. I'm not even ready. So I went to Wales. I flew to Wales in some real big studio that all the bands recorded in out there.
Right. And do you do any like vocal practice to kind of warm up or anything like that? Or do you have a routine that you use?
I don't. I don't have one. And I mean, I warm up a little bit more now, but back then I didn't. I just used to just grab the mic and start singing. You get older, you just kind of hope you can sing, really.
Right. And so when you got there and you did your audition and stuff, was it just like, okay, we know you're good, we got the guy? Is that how it went?
I sang the first line of "Victim of Changes," and Glenn's like, "All right, Owens, you got the gig." It was, So it was. I think they just wanted to hear a little bit and meet me. Their main thing was meeting me, was making sure I was some kind of LA rock star, And
right.
I think that was the biggest thing.
Right. The big thing in a lot of bands I know is you got to be able to hang and chat a little bit and kind of fit in and not feel like the odd man out, and be able to make that connection with everybody else. Definitely. Now, for the first album, did they have the stuff already written for that going? For what was it? It was Jugulator, right?
Yeah, Jugular. They did for both of them, but they had a lot of it written. I just came in there and I think the first couple songs I sang was Bullet Train, Burning Hell. I know the first one was Burning Hell and Death Row. I know those are the first two I definitely sang in the studio.
So you do the album, and then boom, were they right on tour right away as soon as the album was put out?
Yeah, it took a little while. I think I made it. I auditioned in February of '96. I think it was released in like July of '96. I think the album finally came out in. I think it came out '97. I think it came out like in October of '97. So there was a little bit of wait, but there was a lot of promo too. I mean, we did months of promo before the album came out. So, it was, we were traveling. That was back in the day when you would travel around and do promo. You wouldn't do it all online or all this stuff. You would actually travel and people would come into your hotels all day long and you'd be doing one after another. It was the promo was harder than touring.
Right. Just all these different people, or you had to go places. Now you don't have to go anywhere. I mean, there's good and bad to that it went on. And I guess, and then what happened is the news kind of latched onto your story, right? And there was an article about it. And then Hollywood said, hey, maybe we can make a story and a movie about this. It sounded like a good plan. Did they contact you or a priest or?
Yeah, they did. They contacted me. They, New York Times article came out, front page of the entertainment section on a Sunday. And so everybody was jumping at it, and the one that got it was Warner Brothers, which actually called. And, it was a great idea at first. It was going to be a movie about me, but and about the band. But then they just wanted to make their own Hollywood spin. So that eventually the band pulled away from it. So there's very few similarities to it. I guess just basically the storyline of a tribute singer making the band was the only idea they could get. But
I saw that they originally wanted to call it Metal God, and I'm sure they got to put the Hollywood spin on it, make it more charismatic and a little bit more flash. And I'm sure
I think they did the opposite to it though. They tried to. The problem was they made it look like it was the '80s. It wasn't. There wasn't arenas filled with people. This was the '90s where nobody was going to see metal. Metal was non-existent in '97, '98, '99. They made it Spinal Tap like, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And that's just not what it was. I mean, the real story and the passion and the friendship and the hardships and everything about the story would have been much better than the fake, cheesy Spinal Tap like thing.
Yeah. And I'm sure the guy in Priest, they wouldn't really give them any input. So I'm sure that's why they stepped away from it pretty much.
Well, that's what they said. Priest said, if we can't have any creativity, we want nothing to do with the movie, and you can't use our likeness or you can't use our names. We were supposed to have music and everything. It was supposed to be us doing music for the movie and everything. So it was a real shame, but I would have liked to have been involved more. I thought we probably could have been involved and made a little better movie. We could have put our music in it. We could have actually gotten paid. Another disastrous decision. I think that a lot of them were made when I was in the band, and I think that was one of them. That was,
I think Hollywood, in my opinion, Hollywood really missed the train on that one. You know what I mean? You guys have a built-in fan base. Of course, we're going to want to go see that with you guys in it. You know what I mean? I think they really missed the train on that one.
We pulled it. Unfortunately, it's still tagged with us, and we pulled away from it. So half the movie they remade after we pulled away from it. So now we're half of that stuff wasn't going to be in the movie anyways. So we've kind of, that's what kind of stinks. At least we could have saved face a little bit, and has some kind of say. I know they wouldn't let us have much, but at least we could have something, and finally, at least I could get paid for something.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's take a quick pause here, and we're going to play a video here from the London tour with Demolition, with you doing Metal Gods with the guys. Do you remember that one and that show? I think that was a really big show for you guys.
Yeah, it was a good show. Yeah, that was a good one. We just got back from Japan. We just landed from Japan and did that show. It was great.
Awesome. All right, let's take a quick pause here and check out the video. folks, we're back with Tim Owens on Talking About Rock. So the London tour, yeah. So you just did the Metal Gods there, London tour, and that was the Demolition album was out at that time. How did things with that go? Tell us a little bit about that.
It was great. It was a great tour, and it was a great record, and I still do a lot of songs from that record. 101, Hell's Home, Feed on Me, and Machine Man, Lost and Found. I still play a lot of them in my solo shows. But it was great. It was always a great time with the guys. Everything about my experience with Judas Priest was good. We're great friends, had a great time. I think that's probably what I missed the most out of everything, because listen, I tour the world more now than I ever did. Solo, I've played Africa to Greece to, Tel Aviv to Beirut to everywhere in South America. I mean, I've been everywhere, but I missed the guys just hanging out, just like friends and family. It was a great vibe. We had a great time. They treated me well, and always had fun.
Yeah, you guys really definitely clicked well on stage, And then they brought out the 98 Live Meltdown compilation out for you. And a lot of folks think that's some of your greatest stuff on that. I constantly hear that. Yeah,
it's great. I mean, on live, I actually like the Live in London record better live, just because it's more raw. It depicts a concert more, in my opinion. It's just got this rawness to it. But yeah, Meltdown Live is great. A great song selection, songs that we didn't do, Nightcrawler, things like that we only played on that tour and then stopped playing them. So it was a great set list. Right. And then, it's like you were saying, this was a really tough time for metal. I mean, music was changing. They had grunge metal coming out, kind of really killed it for a lot of us. We couldn't wait till that stuff went away. And then we get the announcement in 2003 that Rob's going to rejoin the band. So can you tell us your perspective a little bit about that? Well, it was okay with me because, at that point I wasn't making any money from Judas Priest anyway. So it was kind of silly for me to be there. And I would have never quit Judas Priest, but I didn't want to. I wanted to do other stuff just so I could pay the bills. And, luckily I had recorded the vocals for Glorious Burden for Iced Earth already as a guest singer. And then when Judas Priest let me go, it was like, all right, well then, that was the next move. And it was a great move at the time because Iced Earth was playing as big a shows as Judas Priest. I mean, we were headlining Vakken, and we were playing the same size crowds and the same venues as I was with Judas Priest. So it was pretty cool. Yeah. And you already had a built-in fan base for yourself. People want to see you sing, so you brought that new energy and that new blood to Iced Earth, I'm sure, and I'm sure that reflected in the performances as well. Yeah. So then on from there, you moved on and you did some stuff with Yngwie Malmsteen. You did a couple albums with him. Tell us a little bit about that. Yeah, I went from Iced Earth to Yngwie, and that was good timing as well because I left Iced Earth and I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And Yngwie called and said, hey, you want to come out, maybe do a record? So I went and met with him and we recorded. It was a good time. I had a good time with Yngwie. The vocals it was fun to do it. I mean, the mixes weren't the best on the record. The vocals were a little bit held back, but I had such a great time with him in the studio. He's really fun to work with. And it was an honor to do it because he changed the face of guitar playing. I mean, no matter what anybody says about him or thinks about him, he changed the face of guitar playing, and it was an honor to do it. I totally agree with you. Obviously, he has a reputation for being a difficult taskmaster, and a perfectionist. But definitely his musical playing is just amazing. I totally agree with you. Totally agree. So then you moved on after that. After things, there were some rumblings in Priest. KK ended up leaving. Glenn Tipton had some health issues. And they did some reforming of Priest. Didn't decide to bring KK back in the mix, so KK decided that he was going to do his own Priest, KK's Priest, and obviously he gave you a call. He did, but in the meantime, just so we don't leave a few things out, I released a solo record. I released a Beyond Fear record, my band, a 3 Tremors record, a New Revenge record, a Spirits of Fire record. I've released all kinds of music. People can find that stuff. And then I was working on another 3 Tremors record, and then KK called and said, man, listen, let's do this. You want to make a record, let's make a record. So he sent me the stuff and I thought it was fantastic. I thought this is great. It's a great opportunity and great time to do it. So I was really happy about it.
You're a busy guy, going from recording to recording, band to band. You're just in demand there for a while. That's really got to be great for you. Got to make you feel good. Definitely.
Well, it is. It's lucky. I'm lucky. And I got a lot of other records. People can check my websites and everything and see what I'm doing. I have a band called Pyramid that I just recorded. But anyways, well, yeah, KK's Priest came out, and Sermons of the Sinner, and a very well received record. Very, very well received record. It's out for sale now, and we have the videos out there. So. We're looking forward to touring. Probably middle of next year, we might start touring, hit the festivals and start doing our touring,
That's great. That's great. I really love the stuff you guys are doing on it, especially Hellfire Thunderbolt. Let's take a quick pause and check that out. This is some amazing stuff from Sermons of the Sinner. Hello, folks. Thanks for coming back. We're back here with Tim Ripper Owens on Talking About Rock. So we just checked out the new Sermons of the Sinner, Hellfire Thunderbolt. Amazing video, man. Amazing lyrics.
Thank you.
Love the performance. When I saw it myself, I have to admit I've been a giant Judas Priest fan for a long time. When I saw that, I was just like, it was like reborn. It was just.
It's what needed to be done. I tell everybody that, listen, KK just wrote like KK. He just wrote. This is how he's written his whole life. When I heard the licks and the music and everything he was sending to me, I was like, that sounds like KK Downing. People say it's like Judas Priest. I'm like, well, no shit. It's like Judas Priest. I mean, KK wrote for Judas Priest for 99% of their career. I mean, this is how he writes music. So yeah, it's a great record, and I'm lucky to be on it.
Yeah, I was definitely just amazed, as I think a lot of people were, and so happy to hear it come out, because maybe there were some folks that weren't really happy with Firepower and the stuff that Priest was doing. They do have an amazing guitar player, but you can kind of sense that they're lacking some of the songwriting, and that definitely shows on the Sermons of the Sinner album with the amazing tunes on there. Really, really love it. So let's move on to your other project you got going on, which you'll be coming to town for, the Three Tremors. Can you tell us a little bit about the guys and how this project came about?
Yeah, this all started. I was doing a lot of touring, like in South America. I did like a metal vocal tour with Blaze Bailey and Udo Dirkschneider and Mike Viscara, and then I did one in America with Jeff Tate and Blaze, and then so Sean calls from Cage, and he says, "Hey, Sean Peck," he said, "Listen, I got an idea. Let's do a record. Let's do a 3-singer record, not from our past careers or, tour doing old songs.
Right, all brand new stuff.
Let's make a record." So we get Harry Conklin, and we make the Three Tremors. Now, first we didn't have a name, and obviously everybody knows about the Three Tremors that Rob Halford and Jeff Tate and Bruce Dickinson had. Even Dio was involved, but they never used the name. They just said they threw the idea out there, but they never used the name. They never trademarked the name. They never made a website with the name. So Sean said, "Screw it, let's call ourselves that." They never used it, and it's a very aggressive record. This is our second Guardians of the Void we just released. It just came out. That's our second record, and they're very aggressive records. It's high note singing, it's craziness, over the top music, over the top artwork. Then it's cool, you get to come to these shows. They're small shows, small clubs, and you have the 3 singers on stage, and we got our band is the guys in Cage, and they are also fantastic, so it's just a great show.
Awesome. Yeah, and I guess Sean's pretty much writing most of the lyrics for the tunes. Is that correct?
He did, yeah. It's his baby, and it's like, go ahead. I just wrote a whole record for a band called Pyramid, and I've been doing a lot of writing at home, so it was like, all right, you can go ahead and take this. I'm fine with that. But we put our own info in. When he sends it to us, we might use our own voices, change some things around, and
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, I've been listening to the album all week. It's just some outstanding vocal work by all you guys. Like you said, it's very aggressive. It's very in your face, hard metal, which I think we can use right now. I'm an old school guy, and I'm not sure what's happening with some of the younger bands or where we're going to get the next, hard rock metal band from next, So we obviously need to invigorate these folks and give them some fire, maybe to start doing that. Hopefully that's what this kind of stuff does,
Yeah.
So excellent. So we'll take a quick break here. We'll play the Wrath of Asgard. Can you tell us a little bit about that song?
Well, that was from the first record, and it's always definitely in the set list. We always play it. This is one of the tamer songs on the first record. So
okay,
it has a little groove to it, and that's one of my favorites.
Awesome. So, all right, folks, let's check this out. Wrath of Asgard from the Three Tremors.
Their souls with Valkyrie that found the Viking way to die. Odin sits upon his throne, a raven by his side. A warrior is not alone when he knows with whom he rides. And the oars of the longships are pounding on a path. The thunder and lightning will bring down the wrath. The wrath of Asgard. In battle there's glory in death. The wrath of Asgard. We kill until no one is left. We're fueled by the wrath. Mighty Thor with hammer high, looking at his tricks. Zeus's blades will burn the realm, gods and their politics. Now hell lies in wait for you, the ticking of the clock. The end of time is overdue, the coming Ragnarok. And the oars of the longships are pounding a path. And the thunder and lightning will bring down the wrath. The wrath of Asgard. In battle there's glory in death. The wrath of Asgard. We'll kill until no one is left. In the name of the Father, Son, the war has begun with a wrath. His hammer with merciless might will call down the light and the dark. We'll tear your world asunder, for we do you intend. And the oars of the longships are pounding the path. And thunder and lightning will bring down the wrath. The wrath of Asgard. With battle there's glory in death. The wrath of Asgard. We'll kill until no one is left. We're fueled. The wrath of
Hello, folks. We're back talking about Rob. This is Rob Edwards, and we're back again with Tim Ripper Owens. And we just heard Wrath of Asgard. So, three Tremors, amazing stuff you guys are doing. You know, like you said, you're playing some smaller clubs. You know, people get to be a little up close and see exactly what you're doing. That is just fantastic.
It's really great. You know, I'll tell you what's cool about this new record we just released is, it's not going to be on iTunes or any Spotify. I mean, the 2 songs are going to be on iTunes. Whatever is released as a video, they will be on iTunes and probably Spotify. But this album's only released on hard copy, so people can only buy the vinyl or CD.
Oh, nice! You got the vinyl out. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, we always do. They're a little behind in orders because the vinyl places, because nobody wants to work anymore and all that stuff that's going on. Vinyl's way behind. But yeah, you can't. There's no Spotify. There's no streaming these things. We're not going to give away the music for free anymore. So people actually have to buy it like the old days.
Yeah, we discussed that a lot on the show, how it's just the streaming thing has just crushed everything. And things are upside down now. You guys are not making any money on a product anymore. You got to go out there and tour, or try to do whatever, it's just, and as fans, we're like, oh, we're seeing these big shows and we're paying big money to see these shows now, so it's crazy for us too.
Fans always go, man, why isn't this record on Spotify? I'm like, well, just if the record's out, like I know Jugulator's not out there, and that's usually the one they talk about. But if they say, well, how come this record's not out on Spotify? I'm like, well, it's on Amazon, so you can buy it. I mean, what else to tell you? You can buy the record, you can buy the CD or whatever. Yeah. So it's not everything is given away for free anymore, basically.
Yeah, I got my copy of Jugulator a long time ago when it came out, but yeah, I hear you, and it's just I just don't understand it, And a lot of the younger folks just don't even get the live concert experience. We've talked about that too, because they're watching stuff now through their phones and through screens. Being at a live show is a different experience. Meeting people, and seeing the event live. It's just such a different experience altogether.
Yep.
And we're hoping that eventually, maybe somewhere down the line, things change, and maybe we'll start to see that a little bit where, a single will get released here or there, maybe we'll go back to some type of hard media, and I know vinyl is making a huge comeback,
Well, it's already come back. It sells more than CDs now. So, I mean.
Yeah. So that's awesome. That's great. I assume you're going to have all that at the show when you're coming here, right? You'll have.
Yeah, we don't have the vinyls for sale yet because obviously we can't get them in yet. And they were ordered 5 months ago, and that's how long it takes them to get. But we have the CDs. We have CDs. And all kinds of good merch, shirts, and I got some crazy things that I sell to merch booth, like my own coffee brand that I have out, and these custom made heavy metal candles, Ripper candles that I have, and pretty cool stuff that fans usually don't get.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I didn't know you'd be selling that. I did see the coffee, but yeah, that's really cool. And I did catch your show one time. You got roped into doing one of those bar rescues, right? Back in the day, and you had John Taffer yelling at you, supposedly, doing, what was it? Rippers,
Ripper's Rock House. It was
Ripper's Rock House, yeah.
The show's not, it's basically a fake show. And they called us out of the blue and said, hey, you guys interested in doing a show? And we're like, we don't need to do the show. They're like,
right.
We thought about it and did it. And yeah, it's fabricated stuff. Everything's kind of fake, and they do the show, and that's kind of cool,
Yeah, that's what they do with reality TV. That's all scripted, and I'm sure he was a total nice guy until the camera rolled, and then he had to make it, I'm a tough guy, I'm yelling at you type of thing, and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. But yeah, it was just interesting when I caught you on that a couple months ago. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that. It's just, I think that was in Akron. You're from Akron, Ohio, right? Yeah. All right, cool. So let's take another quick pause here, and we'll play the video from the new Guardian. It was Guardians of the Void from the 3 Tremors. This is Bone Crusher. Hello, folks. We're back. It's Rob Edwards talking about rock, and we're here again with Tim Ripper Owens. So we just watched the video for Bone Breaker. Can you tell us some about that a little bit?
Well, that's a great song. That's a perfect song to start it off with. Sean likes to write lyrics about everything. He's a big fan of comic book things and history and just all kinds of stuff. So this one's just straightforward. Pretty much says it with the title of the song, right? Bone Breaker. It's great, right at your face. Good old school metal.
Yeah, I love the video. That's why when I saw like the comic book stuff in the beginning, I'm like, oh, this is going to be different from your other stuff. You know what I mean? The other stuff is kind of like straight ahead, in your face. You guys go at it right away, and this one's just a little different, but really, really neat, really, really interesting. So if folks want to, know more about you or check your dates or read more about you, where should they go?
Well, for me, they could just go to my website, timripperowens.com, or check me out on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's always like Tim Ripper Owens Official or whatever. I think all those links are on my website. And then, check out the 3 Tremors. We got a great store there to buy all these packages and merch. So, but, you can just find me somewhere.
Excellent. And you got your show coming up then here at 240 Rocks in West Seneca in Buffalo, New York. That's going to be a great time. We can't wait to see you guys there. Got Hair Nation open up with you. So that will be a excellent show. We can't wait. I will be out there definitely to check it out. I'll be a little late, but I'll be there. Yeah,
everybody spread the word and get a good crowd there, and let's have some fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be an excellent night. Well, thank you so much. And folks, if you want to know more from us, please feel free to email us at talkingaboutrock@gmail.com. Please follow us on Facebook. Check out this and other interviews on our YouTube channel. We also have the videos that we played on the show in our videos list. So always check that out. And a special shout out to my friend Jim Crean from Hair Nation for helping us set this up at Talk About Rock. We really appreciate it. Tim, so glad to meet you and so glad to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, we'll do it again soon.
Sounds great. Can't wait. We'll see you at the show, man. Have a great night.
Buddy. Okay,
bye-bye.
See you.